You just want to post content. You don't want to post 50 videos a day. You just want to post consistently, build a personal brand, a lot of value there. And then the other side is like you want to take things to the next level, be a massive influencer, drive traffic. You can post as many times as you want, create infinite content.
In summary, you basically clone people online, make it look hella realistic to where the audience won't even be able to tell.
And I have the peace of mind that you are taking care of everything and giving me updates and keeping me in check on, hey, here's what's going on. I just know that these fuckers will get annoyed until they work with us or book a call or get disqualified. Like 9K cash or 10K cash, 17K rev, something like that. That's a nice week, you know.
So if you're an agency owner struggling to consistently book calls on your calendar, this interview that I have with my client Harsha is for you. Now, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm super excited to be dropping this video in the first place because I cannot describe the amount of hard work that went into actually driving these results. Hence, we were able to do $17,000 in the first 9 days of February. I'm gonna throw up a screenshot on the screen if possible. But other than that, look, I'm gonna just let the interview do the talking. I'll let Harsha describe in his own words what his experience was working with us and how we actually drove those results. And I'm gonna just cut straight into it. Harsha's been running his AI agency for the last how long now? I'm pretty sure you guys launched in August, right?
Yeah. So August, had a marketing agency for around 4 years now, but then the last year pivoted into kind of this AI consulting marketing side.
Yeah. And now, of course, you've been running, I guess, actually just give people a breakdown of your exact offer and how it works and how you even pivoted into this in the first place.
Yeah, for sure, man. So I think just starting off, like I started with me and my brother just posting a bunch of videos on TikTok. We saw that TikTok is like this whole new, brand new short form platform. There's this thing called short form content where you can post a video and get views without having to pay for it, which to me was like, holy shit, you're not running Facebook ads anymore to get traffic, which is where I started my entrepreneur journey, right? But really, just the first business success was growing those TikTok accounts, figuring it out, somehow just coming up with a script and framework for content that ended up going viral consistently, grew over 1 million followers, 1 billion views. And then from there, 4 years ago, started our marketing agency where we helped people with short form content. From there, kind of just slowed down in the middle with school. Me and my brother in college and high school got busy. But then this past year, I was like, let's pick this back up. But ChatGPT came out. So I was like, how can I combine both of these together? And so that's when we started this, really just taking AI and applying it to marketing. So we started off with this pivot back in August by creating like custom AI software, right? Custom AI software to automate marketing processes, operations, client onboarding, whatever it was, right? That was great, but I think the fulfillment was just too much effort. Coding takes too long. I hate that shit. And so really then I think 5 months ago, yeah, 6 months ago now, we pivoted into our current offer, which is called DigiDoppel. And so DigiDoppel is pretty much just an AI clone that we create for our clients. And we use that clone to then automate their entire social media growth, namely on Instagram. And so we create an extremely realistic AI clone of them, use that to generate talking head videos of them to then generate leads for their business. And so that's really what we're at now and what the offer is.
Got you. So in summary, you basically clone people online, make it look hella realistic to where the audience won't even be able to tell, and you automate their entire content production process.
Yeah, man. I mean, like right now, I'm about to start posting like 3 times a day on my page. That's 3 videos every single day that I'm not recording. Another client, like a podcast, we're about to start posting 5 videos a day for them. Fully AI generated, fake looking podcast, and they don't have to spend a second. So I think there's kind of two worlds where number one, you just want to post content. You don't want to post 50 videos a day. You just want to post consistently, build a personal brand, a lot of value there. And then the other side is like you want to take things to the next level, be a massive influencer, drive traffic. You can post as many times as you want, create infinite content. So it's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, man, that's where we're at.
Absolutely. So I mean, like you have your offer has multiple benefits. It's not really just about automating. It's also you bring the actual value when it comes to the views. It's not just, oh, we make you more money or we automate your content and we save you time. It's like we can generate you leads. So you guys have the knowledge. You guys have the infrastructures when it comes to actually generating and converting the leads, not just automating the person in their content.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think it's the other side of it is the funnel, right? Coming up with the kind of automations and funnel to convert this organic content, traffic, and inbound leads into actual sales for our clients. That's really like I think where the magic happens is like we don't want to just make you like an influencer. Like sure, if you want to, we can do that. I've blown up accounts in weeks, right? It's easy, but what we're trying to do is make money. So that is like cool AI clone that does all the work for you with my team, and then insane funnel that converts leads in the right way. So you're booking calls with qualified people. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I think you've pretty much already gone through it. But for anybody that's watching, who is a business owner, who's probably sick and tired of filming content that doesn't even perform that well, what is your current offer? You, of course, don't have to state the pricing or anything like that, but what actually do you do for that person who's on the other side of the screen right now, who would potentially be interested in automating their content and still going viral?
Yeah, man. I appreciate the letting me plug. So I'd say really like it would be, setting up the creating your AI clone that's super realistic. It's impossible to tell unless like I tell you that it's AI. Set up your entire funnel, right? Setting up the many chat automations, creating the entire pipeline, doing the research. And really our specific offer is 30 completely done for you videos where we do the research, we ideate the content, we generate this, we create the scripts, we generate the clone talking those scripts, edit the video, and then post it for you. So there's absolutely nothing that you need to do, which there's no other content agency in the world that can do what we do. They require you to record videos, require you to do this or that, all that other bullshit. We are here for a busy entrepreneur that does not have time to record content all day long because we do the entire process. So it's pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
One of one agency.
Sir.
One on one. All right, cool. So I mean, like now, of course, when we first started working together, which was roughly about 4 months ago, I believe, um, you were recently just taking on clients literally just before we started working together, if I'm correct. And now over the last 4 months, of course, we built a great partnership. We're doing very, very well. We had the ups and downs and stuff like that. But overall, what was your experience working with us in the last 4 months?
Yeah, I think it was great. Like, really, when you first launch an offer, you want to push cold outbound because rapid and it's a very rapid and true tested way of like seeing if an offer is actually good, right? So when we launched this offer, I actually got outreached by you, right? And I was like, so you offered to, set up my setting sales team. And I was like, you can do that, but how about you just set up the same outbound process that you just did to get me, right? So first of all, your system works because you closed me with it. And then I was like, the system's so good that can you just set it up for me? So I think starting off, like that was a great experience there where I was like, I mean, the exact system that you are implementing for me along with the team is exactly like what got me to work with you. So I'm like, I know it's gonna work for me. So I think that's been great. In terms of like ups and downs, there's just been, a short period of like, okay, kind of downturn where we're just changing variables, testing new things. And I think that's it's not an issue because I can tell that y'all are grinders and you're putting in all the effort to make it happen and make it work and fix it. And so I can see like the immediate results of like we had a problem, you guys immediately locked in, audited the problem, came up with a solution, fixed it, and then it got resolved. right? So it's very like very much like you guys really care about the service that you're doing and the work you're providing and making sure that it's the best possible output. So I would say like, I mean, that's where I'm at is like, it's great. I think it's the convenience and peace of mind that like you are tracking and checking in with the sales team and setting team every day. And like, and I have the peace of mind that you are taking care of everything and giving me updates and keeping me in check on, hey, here's what's going on. And like that peace of mind is very valuable. Knowing that someone else is there, constantly following up with leads, checking in with the team, making sure everything is good. I think that's a very valuable piece of business workflow that people underestimate. They think that they can do the setting themselves, they can track the things, track the leads themselves. But in reality, you're probably not following up as many times as the rev send guys are. Like I think that's like that's the reality, and that's really what's the most valuable thing for me is like part of this experience is like, dude, I just know that these fuckers will get annoyed until they work with us or book a call or get disqualified. And that's what matters. So yeah, man, it's hype.
I really appreciate that, man. And I mean, like, just to give a rough scope to everybody watching this, like, what exactly did we do for you?
Yeah, so I think it's really just pumping out cold outbound every single day, generating a shit ton of leads. Like I don't have the numbers offhand, you might have them, but like I think as soon as we started working together, we closed like three new clients. I think three new clients in the first like 30 to 45 days of working together, on a brand new offer, right? Which is definitely very difficult to do. It just goes to show that we were able to have a good offer and you were able to convey that offer very well. And so I think what changed was really that. Like every other time we launched an offer, it did okay. We got clients through like my network and whatever, but actually running outbound traffic and marketing and getting successful results, like the first time we've ever done it is with y'all. And so I think specifically what you guys did, right? That cold outbound excuse me, placing the setter, setting up all the KPI tracking and all the follow-ups, the kind of the systems, all the also copywriting and scripts for the actual setting flow, working together with kind of my existing processes and integrating y'all's, like that's really, I would say, the entailment of what you guys have done, but that's just the work. I think the output is like getting us a shit ton of clients. And honestly, something that people don't even think about, but with cold outbound is like, you guys also got me a lot of very qualified followers that can probably get nurtured through my content and then later down the line end up getting closed. So I think what you guys did got me a shit ton of clients, leads, sales calls, and followers. The work, getting that outbound pumped out, placing a setter, getting all the KPI tracking, and just doing the work every single day to make sure it's good to go.
Hell yeah, man. I think a lot of people underestimate the inputs on the sales side of the business. But I think it applies to everything, right? I think a lot of people think they can solopreneur their way through business, but then they realize that oh, they have like maybe 60% here and then like 30% there and then an extra 20% there. And they don't have eyes overlooking each parts of the business, whether that's the marketing or the sales or the fulfillment. So that's I think that's a very valuable insight that a lot of business owners actually do overlook the fact, even like follow-ups, it's very hard to stay on top of follow-ups. I've been there, I've done that, running the business, doing my own outbound system, because I would rather delegate my clients' processes rather than mine. Like, I know what it's like staying on top of follow-ups, especially when you've had a busy day with meetings or recording and stuff like that. Like, I completely understand that. I think that's a very valuable insight. And actually, speaking on, of course, like the first 30 to 45 days of working together, I remember just before we started working together, you said to me, you were like, I don't know if I want to go ahead with this if this isn't going to bring me an ROI. And you were like, I want to see if it's going to bring me an ROI. And how quickly did that ROI actually come?
I think like, I mean, obviously it took like a week to onboard and set up, right? Which is fine. But I think as soon as the system started running, it was like within a week or something, right? I think it was very quick and like Yeah, I mean, within for an ROI, like positive ROI, I think it was within the first week or so. So it's pretty
Mhm.
damn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And I think even now, a couple months down the line, in the first, was it 9 days of February?
yeah, I think Fab. Yeah,
We did how much cash collected in general from like all of the clients altogether?
I think it was like 9K cash or 10K cash, 17K rev, something like
Hmm.
that. That was like that was a nice week, you know. Literally first week of Feb, yeah. And it was like it wasn't just the it goes back to what I'm saying is like it was not just the work done every day of February for new outreach. It was because you were constantly following up with all the work done from October, November, December, and January. And because all of that effort was done, and like me as a business owner, I would have forgot about that shit. But y'all like actually remembered every single lead, every single person that was either that booked a call or was looking to book a call but not yet, and then just got that shit locked, within that first week. So I think that was hype. That was lovely.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What was the main thing that kind of stuck out to you from, I guess, all of the work we did as a whole in the last 4 months?
I mean, honestly, I think it's really just the tracking. Like I'm a very visual person, and so most of like we have a very beautiful client portal that has every single task and every calendar and content idea and the status of every single thing that we do as visibility for our clients. And I don't think a single one of my clients gives a shit about that, right? But like I like it, so I like having that visibility. And so a lot of agencies I work with or have worked with, they just kind of do the work or tell me like in a chat what's going on. Whereas I think with y'all, the visual tracking and like ability for me to asynchronously check in on what's going on is very important to me personally. Like instead of asking you and seeing what's going on, I can just go to the document, go to the trackers and see what's going on. And I think that for me personally is a very important thing is like just being able to see everything visually on what progress are we making. That's, I would say, what stood out really the most is like constant, clear communication, both from you guys verbally, constantly checking in, communicating with me, but also, I think more importantly, non-verbally, which is like the existing trackers, documentation, visual. But yeah, I mean, fundamentally, like communication. That's such a big thing that we talk about, like with my team and like my agency as well. And so I think seeing that when working with you is very, very nice to see.
Absolutely. I mean, I live by the saying, and it's like if it's not down on paper, it doesn't exist. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
inspired by like if it's not down on the calendar, it doesn't exist. But
Hmm.
I've always lived by it, and I think a lot of business owners, especially like nowadays, considering there's so many entrepreneurs and multiple people who run, a business or an online business, considering this hasn't really been around for that long. I think a lot of people really underestimate how big having all of the metrics of your business down on paper is, because a lot of people try out a new system and they're just guessing. They're like, "Oh, I tried it out for a couple days. It seemed to work better, so I think I'm gonna just resume it." Or they try a system, maybe it doesn't yield as much volume, but then the output or the quality of output is so much higher, but they don't exactly realize that because they're not tracking anything. They're just assuming. And then they're like, "Oh, this didn't yield me that much volume. The system must be dog shit." And then they just cut it off. And I think a lot of people don't exactly know how to move their business forward just because they don't have it down visually, as you said. And
Yeah.
I think that's a really like admirable trait to have, is to want to see everything visually, to have it all down on paper, to have it all down in numbers. Because at the end of the day, business is all numbers. Like I know me and you sat down. It was actually most of you, but you broke down the math on how many calls we have to book with the exact closing rate, and then with the show up rate with that, how many calls we have to book with an XYZ show up rate to get XYZ cash collected in the month. So if you break
Yeah,
that, if you're able to break down, of course that's not like 100% accurate because it's life. It's what is the
yeah,
world. That's
yeah,
how the world works. But overall, you're able to just map out your business and numbers. And a lot of people don't have that business down on paper. So I
yeah.
just thought I'd
I
quickly
agree.
touch on that.
No, that's like actually exactly what I was gonna say too, is like when we like most people when they have goals, it's just like some fucking thing that's in the air. Like most people do not set tangible goals, right? Like that's why they never achieve their goals is because it's not tangible. Like you need to write that shit down on a piece of paper and you need to figure out how to actually make it tangible and like achievable, right? And I think with the systems that y'all saw like set up and we work together to build, right? Is like I was like, okay, I want to get what, like 30K rev this month or 30K cash based on based on my close rate, based on my show up, based on the show up rate, based on the qualification rate, based on the booking rate. We can now reverse engineer that goal and actually tangibly measure how many sales calls do we need to book in order to achieve that amount. It could probably be an overestimate or underestimate, but at least I have now a tangible action plan to achieving my goals. And I think that's like so important. And it's so valuable that y'all have helped facilitate that because it's like it now I have a goal in mind. We want to make this amount of money. Here's what we need to do to make it happen today so that 30 days down the line, it actually comes to life. So I think that's like extremely, extremely important.
100%. 100%. I think like now, as you've been running this offer, I guess live since the first client that you signed, um, what would you say has been, I think just kind of more circling onto the educating side of the interview, but what would you say has been your biggest takeaway since you've been running this agency as a whole? This doesn't have to do anything with us, just in general, like your advice.
I would say there's probably two. There's like a technical takeaway and then a non-technical takeaway. The technical one would be like very business process oriented is having SOPs. When you start growing quickly, which is so possible when you have the right team, like if like you're working with people like Matas, like you'll grow quickly, you know? So um I think the most important thing that you need to do is start documenting and tracking everything, even if you have no clients or you have one client, because then you have fuck all to do. Like you have one client or you have like two clients max. You have a lot of time on your hands, and if you act like you don't, then you're just lying to yourself and coping, right? That is a point when you have 1 to 2 clients when you should be documenting and recording every single thing you do for them, right? Literally, if you're doing any work for them, like let's say my example, right? Because that's the best example I can give. If I just hit record on Loom and just started talking out loud when I wrote the first 30 scripts for my first 5 clients, I would probably have had an incredible SOP. And we also preach AI. So I would have had maybe an hour and a half worth of transcript that I could have fed an AI on how I script write. We have, we push out, I'd say 35 pieces of content every single day for me and all my clients, maybe like 40. And so if I just record, like, that's what, like a thousand pieces of content that me and my team have scripted. If we just hit a Loom video, if we just put play on a Loom video, recorded our process, and then wrote it down, I could be hiring like 3 more content script writers. But now I'm at a point where like I'm struggling to take on new clients because I don't have SOPs, like standard operating procedures or processes down packed. And so that's the number one key takeaway that I would say is like when you're onboarding a client, just make sure your video is recording, make sure you're documenting exactly what you do. That way, when you grow, you can start hiring team members quickly. There's so many AI tools that can take the Loom videos that you're recording in transcripts and then build SOP documents. So that would be the number one thing is like you don't want to stop yourself from making more money, taking on new clients because don't have the right processes to hire, which also means at the same time, don't hire someone if you don't have the right processes, because you're now going to add another whirlwind of new problems to your life. So I'd say those are the main takeaways. Technical side, non-technical, just life. I think it's really like give yourself a tangible goal. It goes back to the same thing. Like all the entire time that I've ran my businesses in the past, like I've got a tiny bit of success, sure, but I haven't really got the most success until like this past year, right? And so the only thing that changed from all those previous times, like I'd fluctuate around 5 to 10K per month, like, maybe 15K per month on a good week, but like I'd never really hit high revenue numbers past that, like 25, 30. And so I think what really changed was I just set an actionable goal and I didn't make a whole treasure map plan to get there. That's the only difference I made is like set a goal that's extremely tangible and actionable. For me, it's so weird, it's so unorthodox, but my tangible goal is taking me and my two business partners on a trip to Bali, fully business expensed. And so I have the past like 6 months, my entire revenue and profit and financial planning is around this fucking Bali trip and how to afford that where it doesn't make a single dent in the business. And it's so unorthodox. But the thing is, it's so tangible. I know that in July or in June, I'm going to Bali and it's going to cost me this much for travel, for Airbnb, for food, and this is all coming out of the business. And it's very weird, but it's so real and it's so tangible compared to any other goal I've had in the past. And so I've been able to get closer and closer to accomplishing it. And literally in the next month, we're going to book flights and make it come to life. Whereas a year ago, I would have never even imagined that I could afford to do that. And so that's number one is like make a very tangible goal. Like it doesn't need to be material, right? It could be buy yourself XYZ, do this, do that. Maybe hit some revenue goal. But instead of saying hit a revenue goal, maybe say take your mom out to like a nice $500 dinner. Like, that's like very that's a very like unorthodox goal, but if you put your mind to it, I think it's very achievable. The second thing would be don't plan it all out every single day to the second because it's not going to go according to plan. And the second that second it doesn't go according to plan, your brain is going to just start discounting you and discouraging you. So make your plan as like brain dead as possible to where there's almost no plan. And so those are really I said a lot, but those are my main takeaways. Business wise, document your processes, have SOPs, have everything written down, and then just like life mindset wise, set very, very tangible goals that are unorthodox and actually fun. And then don't create an extensive grand plan around them because it will never go to that grand plan. Make a plan so small and thin that it's not even a plan. It's just doing the action and doing the work. So that's my that's my sauce.
I like that. I like that. I'm
Yeah.
curious with the non-technical bit of advice. Do you set a deadline for your goal, or do you just set it, blow it out into the air and like you just have it in the back of your mind, but you don't, as you said, have a master plan behind it, nor do you have a deadline to get it by X, Y, Z?
I definitely have a deadline. And because then it makes it real, right? It makes it tangible. Whereas like if you say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Bali," like that's still not tangible. Whereas like we have pretty much put on paper and I've told all my friends and family, I'm going to Bali in May, like the end of May, June. I'm going there and I will see you there and you guys can plan your life around if you want to come for a week and hang out with us. Like that is how tangible it is like that it's already happened. It's already done. Um
Hmm.
there's no plan around it, but it's like it's tangible because every single day, every single month, I'm getting closer to it. So it's real. It's a real thing. So I'd say yeah, planning wise, it's different, but in terms of making it tangible, I think it needs to have a very specific date. And like some people don't like vocalizing their goals or whatever. Um, because I agree sometimes when you talk about it, it's the same satisfaction as like, you know, doing it. Like
Achieving.
there's
Yeah.
actual, yeah, there's like research around the dopamine boost you get from saying something versus actually doing it. So it depends on the person, but I think make it as tangible as humanely possible. And in your head, it should be like, I already have it. And that's been me for the past 6 months is like, I already have the Bali trip. I'm just gonna go and get it now. I'm gonna go and book it now. But I already have it. And that's like a fucking that will change everything for whoever the hell is watching this. Stop telling yourself I will do this or like I need this. I need to make more money. I need to get jacked. Like you need to gaslight your brain into knowing you already have it. Like I already have a 20K per month business. I already have a 50K per month business. I mean, we say this in our meetings too. Like we already have a 50K per month business right now. Even though on paper we technically don't yet, but in our heads we already do. And so our reality is just going to catch up to what we have in our mind. And so that's the biggest thing I'd say.
I like that. I really do like that. I think especially just believing it's already real before it actually is. I think that's
Yeah, and
actually
I
very,
would say not
very
even
big.
believing, like knowing. That's like the
Yeah,
true gaslighting is like you know that you already have it. It's not even you're believing it. You're like, I know I have it. I already have it. That's
that's
like a
big.
deep, deep level of gaslighting where it becomes reality. And like that's what people say is like manifestation is like it's like a fancy like woo-woo word of like, people are like, oh, you're casting some spell on and manifesting, but like no, it's really not. I think it's just like the world is just catching up with the reality that's already present in your head. And
Mm,
that's all you do. So
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Apart from that, man, I think we're on to basically our last question.
Yeah.
Actually, two more questions, but quickly, what advice would you give to somebody who's kind of starting their agency right now?
Work with my boy. Work with my boy Matas, bro. I'm not even trolling. Like, I mean, look, first off, I would say like the fastest way to validate an offer is to run cold traffic. And so, like, if you're starting an agency, you're brand new, just work with a couple people for free, get some case studies, and then work with someone who is smarter than you, like Matas, who can fucking like, who knows what to do and will do it quickly. There's no point of you like thinking that you're smarter than everyone. Like I just had a sales call with someone. This dude thinks he's smarter than like his biggest competitor, who was like a seven-figure business, and he's starting out a brand new company. I'm friends with the founder, and he thinks that he's like, oh, I'll figure it out myself. But I think the reality is the most successful people in the world had great mentors, which is why they're so successful. So I'd say first thing, like work with people for free, drop your ego and be willing to get experience in exchange for future wealth. And then the second thing is work with people who are smarter than you so you don't have to spend the time to make up for that knowledge gap. You're paying for your time back in exchange for money. Like that's what I did with y'all is like I paid you guys in exchange for not having to figure out and take like 6 to 8 months or a year to figure out how to manage a setter, how to manage outbound. Like I was like, let's work together and that's it. And I got the results quickly, right? So that's the main thing I would say is those two things.
100%. I really appreciate that, man. I did of course have another question, but you already answered it. So
Yeah, yeah.
I really appreciate having you on, man. It's been a pleasure.
No,
And until to many more months coming as well. I know we're gonna absolutely
sure.
smash it in
Oh
2025
yeah.
with the offer we have right here.
Oh yeah. I mean, whoever's watching this, like, I think by the time you even watch this versus like the reality of whatever day it is, you're gonna see probably a lot more of a difference as well, right? So every single day there's something happening and there's something compounding. So it's hype, man. I'm excited. This month's about to go crazy too. Like,
100%. And
yeah,
by the way, to everybody who's watching, I'm gonna leave Harsha's details down below if you wanna hit him up, even any advice on content or content creation or just in general using HeyGen or anything like that to clone yourself online. But yeah, Harsha's the man. I really appreciate having you on, man. And hopefully we do a part two sometime
Yeah.
soon when we're doing 100K months.
Yes, sir. Sir.
So that basically concludes the interview between me and Harsha. I really hope you found it valuable, and I really hope that you got some insight into exactly how we roll and how we work and exactly how we were able to drive these results for Harsha in the first place. Now, look, I don't really want anything in return for you to watch this video. All I really would possibly ask is for you to just leave a like and subscribe, as it does really help me out a lot. But other than that, honestly, just stay tuned to my next video. Bye.